love, by the way. Just sometimes we're manifesting bad love, sometimes we're manifesting no love, and sometimes we're manifesting the right love. Today, on this short training, I want to help you to manifest a greater relationship. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sonny Sekon, love coach, founder of Love Fest, and helping many people create healthy, loving relationships. This is my mission and purpose. This mission and purpose came about because I was working in finance and I was a contractor at the time working in London, and I was creating unhealthy relationships without knowing. It was all I was familiar with. After time, I trained and learnt how to break them patterns. I'm going to discuss that a little bit later. I'm going to be sharing with you the keys to breaking that pattern and to create that beautiful relationship, that healthy, loving relationship, so that you can create a better relationship in the future, so that you can create a healthy, loving relationship. I hope that sounds exciting to you, and because you're in the right space at the right time if it does. If you were somebody that have been creating bad relationships in the past, then this is the right space for you. If you're somebody that's not created a relationship and are frustrated with what to do to create that better relationship, then this is a good space for you too. The reason why we're doing this is because we have a big passion to help people to lift their energy so that they can create a greater level of life, a greater level of joy, and a greater level of love in their life, and to have that with a partner. We've been able to help many people go from creating no relationship, toxic relationships, situationships, to creating loving, beautiful relationships. There's a beautiful woman that comes to mind, and she's so kind and loving and caring. And unfortunately, this poor woman wasn't ever seeing her worth. And when we did some work together, some coaching together, was able to help her to open up, to open her heart, and to create a beautiful relationship. And as she did, she found a beautiful love, joy, and excitement for life and relationships. And then she got married. Now she's pregnant, and her life completely transformed as she started to see herself and to learn and develop and become more. Today, on this call, we're going to cover off some things that's going to help you on that journey so that you can start to manifest and become clearer on your vision of a relationship. Please grab a pen and paper, and we look forward to getting started with you. I'm just going to share a little bit more about who we are and what we do. It's time to open up to a new school of thought. And that new school of thought is to think greater than our current relationship situation. What do I mean by that? Is if what's been working in the past hasn't been serving you, the dates, the connections, the openness hasn't been working for you, it's time for us to change to a new way of thinking. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some opening of thoughts and beliefs and studies that are going to support you to create a healthier, more loving life. We're going to help you to open up your mind so you can start to create a healthier relationship. There I am there. Like I said, I'm Sonny Sekon. I'm an author, love coach, I'm qualified life coach, NLP practitioner, timeline therapist, trained as a Tony Robbins coach. I have great mentors of Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And all of this came about over 10 years ago now. It was around 12 years ago. I found a beautiful relationship. It was everything I was asking for. However, what happened was it was a toxic relationship. And the reason why it was toxic was because I was familiar with bad relationships in my life. What I envisioned and saw as a healthy relationship was actually a very toxic relationship. My thoughts, my beliefs, and the way that I was seeing the world wasn't in a healthy way. I was scared to open up. I was scared to let someone in. And every time I did, I would naturally fight against them. My natural defense mechanism would come up. This was because I came from a household which had instability, and my mum and father wasn't together. Actually, my father abused my mum and used to physically hit her. And this left so much pain and scars and hurt with my mum. My mum would have poor beliefs around relationships and be scared to let anyone else in or to trust or to truly love. She was scared about the world, and this energy and information was passed on to me. Pain and hurt. I would find fear when dating and letting someone in. My journey started when dating was I met an amazing woman when I was like 16 years old. And at that point there, I was very anxious. If you're familiar with the attachment styles, I was anxious and needed a lot of love. And because I needed that reassurance, it the relationship grew from being healthy and fun and optimistic to my insecurities of neediness coming out and when times were tough in the household. And when I was needy, I was showing her a side of me that wasn't healthy and made her think, "Well, do I really want to be with this person long term?" Obviously, we were 16, 17 at the time, but that first love felt like eternity at that moment. And when she would pull away, I would come closer, trying to hold on to the relationship. And in that, I learned that my naivety, my need to please, my need to like run after her was sabotaging the relationship because then she cheated on me. She cheated on me. I was absolutely heartbroken. I was crying every night as a poor lad. And I didn't feel safe to go tell anyone. My mum was very strong and really didn't understand. No one else around me, I felt, at the time understood. And I felt massively insecure, worried, and in a lot of pain. Then my brother taught me this method of treat 'em keen, and treat 'em mean, and keep 'em keen. So I used that method. I used that method of treating 'em keen and keep 'em keen. Then guess what? She came chasing back to me, which made me think, okay, this is good. Ultimately, the relationship didn't work anyway, but I used this method afterwards. And as I kept everyone outside and kept them away from me, it made it really easy for me to attract a partner, attract love. And that was very easy. I would bring that love into my life with no hesitancy, with no worries, with no doubts. But it was always the wrong love. I was either settling, I was finding the wrong partners, I was going for the ones that wouldn't like me. I enjoyed that game. And because of that, I never found that right relationship. Fast forward until I was about 23, I was like saying to the world, God, you're the universe. I wasn't familiar with the universal God. I wasn't talking directly to it, but I was saying it out loud. That I was looking for love and I want that right partner in my life now. I'm ready for this relationship. I'll text my friends, I'll text people saying, look, I'm really after this right relationship now. And I went on a couple of bad dates and then I found my wife, and now I know is my soulmate because throughout this journey of 12 years together, our souls have grown so much. And this is a big part of the soulmate to help your soul grow and become more. We're truly cherished and bless our time together and so grateful for this beautiful relationship. But it went from a healthy relationship to a very toxic relationship really fast. We were in love with each other and creating a beautiful relationship. But the problem was the relationship soon started to die down when family started to get involved, when I started to close off from letting her in and started sabotaging the relationship and pushing her away, being closed and talking to other people, all these kind of behaviors where I was sabotaging factors that was coming back into the relationship because a part of me didn't feel ready to love and open up. And that was the same for her. During this period, we saw a lot around my family became chaotic. And before that, I never knew my family was toxic or had them traits. I couldn't see the signs. And they became very controlling and aggressive and rude. And the people in my life became very controlling towards how my life would be as a this 23, 24-year-old boy, man. And my pleaser instinct came back out. I was really torn apart about what do I do. I was in a job that I didn't really love. I was in circumstances that wasn't serving me best. And because of this, I was really in a worried and uncertain place that I went into a depressed state. I would always find the negatives at bad points. I'd find the issues. I would focus on the problems. I would focus on the worst case scenarios. I lost hope of the relationship or the relationships around me. And constantly I was in this negative state that was killing me in a way. Then I went to my first mentor, Tony Robbins, that helped me to lift my energy, to refocus, to draw in the energy, to create love, to create excitement, to push forward. Um, that really helped our relationship. Started seeing color in the sky again from the cloudiness. We started to understand our happiness, our joy, our focus. And we started to create a healthier relationship together. And then from there, went on to the next steps to do more, to create more, to push out to more. I went and qualified with his Mastery University and went and rewrote what we wanted for life in our relationship. And this really helped transform us, rewire our thinking, our brain, our thought process. And then qualified as a coach and with the Robin Madanis coaching, qualified in NLP, timeline therapy, qualified in helping so many people, started with marriages and started saving their marriages, and then went on to singles because I really wanted to work on helping create a solid foundation so that you can create a healthier relationship for the future. This has been our big focus now, and we've been able to help many people. Big missions to help millions of people to create healthier relationships for that next generation, to create healthier relationships so that divorce rates get better, so that we start to focus and put in emotional intelligence and awareness within relationships to improve relationships. This is what we want to do for you now on this beautiful training that we're setting up for you. I want to help you to open up and to create more joy, more love, more happiness within your life. Just like how we have. Me and my wife now proudly have a beautiful relationship together, constantly growing and evolving and creating more and doing more. It's a beautiful space of joy and love. And this is what we want to continue and help more on. We want to build this more and more to help more people to create better relationships, more conscious relationships. The word conscious just means an awareness of life, an awareness of emotions, an awareness of what to do. And this is why I'm putting this training together to help you. More recently, I've been doing a beautiful journey within ayahuasca and the plant medicine to learn from shamans and to heal deep wounds that are happening within, to let go of the frequency and the problems around me so that I can create a greater level of life, so I can help and serve at a greater level. It's been a beautiful journey of helping more people come together and to make change in their life, to help people fall in love and love life and the relationships that they create. We're so excited for this training and be able to give wisdom from relationships, to give wisdom from our journey that we went on so that you don't have to create the same thing. So that no matter where you are on your journey, even if it's just creating bad relationships or if it's not being in a relationship, so that you can start to create a better relationship for the future. Would you agree that that's the main goal, to create a better relationship, a greater vision, a greater love, a greater excitement for life? Because what I used to think that toxic trap was exciting, but now I realized that living in joy, love, and gratitude for life, to create more and do more, is the excitement, is the buzz, is the realness around what we want. Well, I'm on a mission to help millions of people to do this across the world. And with Love Fest, we've helped thousands and thousands of people. Last year, we helped over 4,000 people last year. The year before, over 12,000 people. And it's been a really beautiful journey of doing more for people to make that change in their life so that they can grow with energy, with love, with joy, so that they can create more excitement with what they do in their life. Really excited to have you on. In our recent years, well, the last 5 years, I've been studying the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, if not longer, and understanding his concepts and words. In the last recent period, been understanding his mentorship online. During COVID, I went through his courses and programs to develop, and even recently went to his live event, which gives us a great energy. All of the mentors in my life have helped transform my life to become greater. And the reason why I share that is not to impress you, but to impress upon you the wisdom and knowledge that we're going to be sharing with you right now. We've been applying this knowledge to help clients to create better results in their life so that they can create better outcomes in what they want. And we're on this beautiful mission to do more for people. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, great mentor, he shares that the quality of your life is the way that your life is created by your personality. Your personality creates your personal reality. What it means by that is the way that you think, act, and feel creates the way that you see the world around you. For example, if you were to act in the same ways, so let's break that down a little bit more. If you were to not go on dates, not put yourself out there to date anyone, and be negative around relationships, then the way you think negative around relationships, the way you act not going on relationships, the way you feel most likely would be alone or a lack of inspiration for love and dating, that's going to create outside no relationship. Does that make sense? So if the way you're thinking, the way you're acting, and the way you feel is going to create no relationship outside. For example, if you were to think about the gym in a negative way, you think it would take too much time. It's not a good place to go to. It's too rough. If that's what your thoughts were, you may not go there, so you won't go there. And you'll feel like just being at home. Now, because of that, that's going to impact your body and the way your health is. Now, if you were to think a new way, if you were to think gyms are really good places to go to, and you had a friend that you can go gym with, and you were to take action to go there with your friend and hold yourself accountable, and you'll feel excited to go to the gym, then you'll create a healthier body on the outside. So this is where your personality, the way you think, act, and feel, creates the personal reality that you see outside. So now your body is healthier. You're in the gym. And based on this model, we're going to progress to looking at relationships and how to manifest the right relationship for you. Now, in quantum physics, we've had amazing developments. And these developments have shown that atoms that bond together, they make a molecule. So simply put, I remember this time. My family came over to my wife's house. This was 5 years ago. And they came over to just before the wedding. They wanted to connect and meet everybody and get to know everyone. It was like part of the engagement. And my mother at that point there used to think really negative about life, about opportunities, about business. And she used to watch a lot of the news. And because she used to watch a lot of this, she used to think a certain way. And she used to talk about life in a negative way. And without knowing, she came to my wife's family's house, and there was one of her family members that used to complain and moan and think negative as well. And both of those two just came together. They both just stood there next to each other the whole time. And as they stood there next to each other the whole time, they would complain, they would moan, and got on like a house on fire. But guess what? It was negative. It wasn't the best conversation. It wasn't a healthy conversation. And because of that, they got on, but it was still a bad conversation. This is because of the atoms and the information that they shared was negative. And the atom and the information she shared was negative. But by chance, by force, it just came together. And they stayed together the whole evening. And the quantum physics has found the reason why this happens is because atoms bond together and they make a molecule, a wider being or wider force together. It's because people with the same emotion, same energy, and the same thoughts, they bond together. And as they come in bonded together, they come in and form a shared information. They share information, emotions together, and this is what makes them get on. That's why if you've ever started to change the way you are and you've gone through a frequency upgrade or you've done some healing work, one of the things that you notice first is that you start to let go of friendship groups that no longer serve you. Has that happened in your life before? You start to let go of people that don't no longer serve you anymore. And the reason why is because you're not sharing the same information, same feelings, or the same thoughts anymore. So then friends become a bit more of a distant memory, or you don't connect as deeply as you used to. And this is just a normal part of life when you change your frequency. What we want to do is change our frequency to love. And by understanding this model of quantum physics and science, we can apply this to dating and relationships. We can apply this to love. We can say, well, maybe I was cheated on in the past, and I could personally share about my own story. I was cheated on in the past because at that time I didn't value myself. I didn't value love or relationships. At that time, I was confused and I was giving my power away. I was a pleaser to other people. So I was pleasing her when times got tough. And because of all of these added factors, she was also sharing that same information. She didn't value herself, she didn't value the relationship. She was unsure about what she wanted and who she was, being that we was young, but it's true, it's still the same thought process. And she would also not know who she was. And therefore, she cheated because of that confusion. And I gave my power away to her. Because of that lack of information, that lack of value, both of these atoms or both people were sharing, we both was in this loop where she cheated and I was in a place where I was hurt and then I was growing. So that's what happened. We were sharing information of lack of value. But when we first got together, our information that we were sharing was quite exciting, quite optimistic, creating a relationship, just going with things. And that was the current information. But then information after time was changing, our energy was changing. The awesome thing about atoms, I'm not going too scientific, I'm just breaking down into really small bite chunks so that we can understand. Um, Amazing things about atom is they're 99.9999% empty. Our body's built of these atoms. And as they're 99.999999% empty, what does that mean? It means it's a lot of empty space. And the things that fills this empty space is the information, the thoughts, and the energy that's within it. As soon as we change the information, the thoughts, the energy that we have inside of this atom, we can attract different circumstances in life. That's why people say when bad things happen, they happen in three. Because you have one bad thing, you're feeling bad. And another bad thing, you're still feeling bad. Another bad thing, you're like, I need to break out of this. And you break out. But you can break it out faster. It's about shifting our energy, quantum shifting to a higher vibration, quantum shifting our vibration to love, that frequency of love. And this is how we draw in and manifest that relationship into our life in a better way. It's how we draw in the right love relationship into our life. And we do a quantum leap from where we was to where we want to get to. This is what we're going to be discussing today. And if you don't get some of these concepts, not to worry, because we go over them over and over again. So now we've got to understand what new information, emotions, and energy do we want to have within our atom, and that will attract somebody that also thinks the same. We're going to break that down further now. So where you're at is you want to create a relationship, a beautiful relationship of your dreams, a healthy, loving relationship. And this is the end goal. And where you're currently at is you're not in that relationship. So you might have experienced bad relationships, or you're single, or you've experienced situationships. So what we want to do is get from where you are to where you want to be. And this is where we need to quantum leap and shift your frequency to the life that you want. From going from where you are now to the relationship and love that you want to bring in. And this is the key to manifesting the life and love that you want. Let's talk about some of the key things that needs to happen in order for us to open up to love. We've got to look at the 4 quadrants that really decide the life that we have. It's how you feel, what you believe, what you affirm, and affirming is how you're speaking out to the world, and how you act. And when we look at feel, belief is like certainty that you have, what you affirm, the language you have, and how you act. It's really important. Let's look at the first thing, how you feel. This is a measure and a tool from a great doctor called Dr. David Hawkins. Dr. David Hawkins breaks down this paradigm of our survival emotions and also our healthy emotions. And he ranks them in an order. He said when we're feeling guilt, the feeling of guilt is a low vibration. And this vibration out of 0 to 1000 is vibrating at the energy of 30. You must have had that before, when you're feeling guilt within your body and your body just closes down. You're feeling bad, you're feeling low, your body's closing down. You must have had that. There is an energy of 100, which is fear. If we're feeling fear that things aren't going to work, if we're feeling fear that the relationship isn't going to work, then this is a lower energy. If we think about 0 to 1000 and scale that to maybe a mobile phone or a human chart of 0 to 100, then having fear would be like having 10% battery. And if you got 10% battery, are you really going to be the best when you're dating? Are you going to really be out there the most when you're dating? Are you going to be taking opportunities? Just think about that. If you had 10% battery on your phone, on your mobile, would you be using it for games and texting and everything? Or would you just be keeping it for emergencies? And that's normally the same thing when people are in fear. They don't want to open up. They don't want to open in their heart to love. They don't want to create love because they're just minimizing that energy that they have because they so much fear around relationships that they think they could be hurt so easily. And because of that, they don't want to be hurt. So this creates a lot of anxiety. And we see this quite a lot, actually. With the matchmaking and love fest, we see anxiety come up with people. Sometimes people fake illnesses. I'm sure they really feel ill, but they fake the illness just before an event. And the reason why is because the fear of coming into an event, committing to an event, committing to more. And they would fake an illness or an excuse just beforehand. It's really crazy. And they have to overcome that fear. They have to get beyond it. This is part of the quantum leaping. They have fear when it comes down to the actual relationship. So they ghost, they go quiet, and this anxiety leads all these doubts within them. They become needy and a pleaser like I was before. And also they have a lot of pride. That's another way of coping with fear. They start blaming other people instead of learning and growing and begin opening themselves. They start to blame others. And this pride comes in, saying that I'm too good for you, I'm better than you. And because of that, we're always blaming the outsider, not learning internally. This is also known as the avoidant attachment style. The needy attachment style is more that pleaser side. The avoidant attachment style is when we blame outside too much. And then there's higher levels, which is a level of courage. And what Dr. David Hawkins said was when we're going into them higher feelings of courage, of acceptance, of love, of joy, of enlightenment, which is that pure consciousness, that connection with all, then we start to lift our energy to a higher basis. We start to lift who we are to a higher level. And this feeling and emotion that we put into life is now looking at 500. It's looking at 600. When we encourage, it's 200, which is double the amount of fear. And can you agree that if you put double the amount of energy into anything, you put the double amount of feelings into anything, you're going to get double the results, right? Well, that's the exact same thing. What happens when people are in fear and anxiety that are focused on relationships but can't create it because their level of energy is like that 10% battery as opposed to 20% battery where you can explore more, do more, 50% battery where you can use it at more maximum. And that's going to create a greater level of results. Would you agree? So this is how you feel. And how you feel is based on your feelings, the way you trust, your optimism, your willingness for life, your joy for life. Then how you feel to create and manifest that right relationship is truly important. Because if we're in pride and we're blaming and we're frustrated at everyone else, then we're going to be closed to opening our heart. If we're in fear that somebody's going to hurt us, then that anxiety is going to come up for us. But we can have the courage to open your heart, to courage to create the relationship, to commit, then you'll create a greater level of relationship. Would you agree? If you can have acceptance, so you know what? I let go of the past, I forgive whoever hurt me. I'm open and ready for that new life, that new relationship. Then in this level of acceptance, you're gonna be coming in blank, without that trauma, without that pain, without anything there. And instead, you're gonna have wisdom. Because once we can accept the past, once we can release the emotions of the past and we can open our heart and we can accept whatever challenges and emotional trauma we had, now we're in a space that we can open up to wisdom. Because wisdom is overcoming the challenge and letting go of the emotions. Now we become wise. And if you were to go into a new relationship like that, do you think that would be a greater relationship with an open heart, more wisdom, more optimism? Do you think that would be a greater level of wisdom than the one that's in anxiety, fear, and doubts from the past? If so, you will be able to create a whole new reality. You'll be able to create a whole new relationship because there are also people that are out there that are ready to create that beautiful level of relationship. And how we looked at the atoms before, when you're forgiving your past, when you're accepting, when you're loving, when you're in this space, you're going to create a whole new level of connection because your frequency will be vibrating in a whole different place. When you're in this level of love, of joy to create a beautiful relationship, that joy and excitement to do more, to be more, that joy to create a life and love that is greater than the love that you're currently experiencing. You're going to be experiencing more happiness, more love, and an optimism for a relationship. And this creates, as a side effect of this, it creates a long term relationship. It creates partners that don't want to cheat on you. It creates people that don't want to hurt you because the level of energy you're putting into this relationship and the level of energy they're putting in, they don't want to damage that. This becomes a very sacred connection, a very sacred bond. And because of that, it's like a best friend. You would never want to hurt them because your best friend and you have such a beautiful relationship, such closeness, such love, such joy, such happiness. You'll never want to damage that relationship. And because of that, it's really important for us to keep that relationship sacred. And this is why people would do anything not to hurt or damage that beautiful relationship that you create with them. And with the anxious relationships, when you're already doubting your partner, studies have found if you're assuming your partner would do something, they're more likely to do it. If you assume they're going to take out the bins, they're more likely to take out the bins. They found that this links to the neuroscience, the way the brain is connected, that it's just a natural behavior. And because of that, it just naturally happens. But if you always think the worst in your partner, then they would naturally live up to that. It's a really interesting studies on how we assume people in our life will behave actually acts out in their life and plays out in the life that we see. There's a lot of greatness and wisdom around us right now that will help create healthier relationships and more loving relationships. But can you see how somebody that lives in that atom of anxiety, fear, doubt, they start going into the relationship, they start thinking doubts, they start putting doubts out there, they start acting more closed off, more worried, more needy. And the person that would stay within that relationship is somebody that's also familiar or okay with that relationship. So they must also have that same doubts. Because if somebody who lives in joy and optimism and acceptance and a creative vision to create more joy in life and a beautiful relationship, if you'll keep on casting doubts and worries and putting them off, they're going to move away eventually because they're going to feel two different energies coming together. They're going to feel separated from you. And the key with a beautiful relationship is feeling whole together, feeling connected in a beautiful way. And this is what we're going to be looking at now. Because when we move from the survival side, which is the neediness, the separation, we move more into the creation, the thriving relationship. And this relationship feels connected with your partner. You feel connected all together. You don't feel like blaming and pushing them away. Instead, you want to lift the relationship with love and kindness and trust. And this relationship are two different relationships, the relationship of survival and the relationship of thriving. I have clients that are in situationships that are so worried and scared to have that open conversation. And they're in a relationship of survival and they're accepting and tolerating that relationship of survival. And what you accept and what you tolerate within a relationship is what you create. If you're accepting somebody to not ask you out or the relationship to not develop, then you're tolerating a poor level of relationship. If you're accepting a relationship of lack of communication, of lack of trust, and you're accepting that and you're allowing that to come into your life, then there's a part of you that thinks that's all you're worth. Many cases where clients have been cheated on is because of self-worth. They believe their lack of worth, lack of value for themselves creates um, is only good enough for somebody to not be with them long term or for them to cheat on. So this is what leads into them actions. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm helping you to get clear on how to manifest a healthier relationship. I hope you're finding value from this, okay? Please let me know in the comments. Now let's move on to how the next relationship or the next part of the relationship would look like. If we start to put in them high feelings of high emotions, high joy, high love, how would that be? So now when we look at the personality of lack, personality of single relationship or a single person that's not finding a healthy relationship, what we see here is them doubts, that worry, that sadness, the feeling of ego, of fear, of what if things don't work out, the feeling of hopelessness. There's no one out there for me. So even if the relationship was to start working, they will push the relationship away. A feeling of shame. No one wants to be with me, otherwise I would have found love. Now, when that partner does come into your life, you start questioning that partner. You start to question, are you really here for me long term or not? Do you really want this relationship to develop or not? This is how shame links into the body and the thoughts and thinking of shame. What do we start affirming? There's no good partners out there. don't believe it will work for them. They start giving up on love and relationships, and just give up on dating. They focus on work instead. They start focusing on other things. They become workaholics. They go out with their friends instead, and they give up on dating and relationships. They start blaming family and the world for their problems and their issues. They are living in survival. They focus on what they focus on is the worst case scenario. They don't focus on what could happen or the possibilities of greatness. They focus on the worst case scenario. They're focusing on that it's not going to work. They focus on being rejected. They they think love doesn't work for them. It's not in their kismet for work to work, for love to work. How do they act? Well, you know what? I've met these people and they act rude. They miss opportunities. Somebody great could walk in front of them and they will find the one fault with them to sabotage it because they don't want to open up to love because of the fear, because of the pain. They don't want to open up to new opportunities because of the doubts, because of the worries. They're quite forceful with how things must be. It has to be the way they want it to be. There's no openness to creating a healthy, fun relationship because everything has to be how they want it to be. And if it's not what they want. Again, that's fear playing out within them. That's fear of opening up, the fear of not allowing possibilities or greater possibilities to come into their life. Sometimes they're quite passive. They act passive, like they don't give enough energy to the relationship for it to develop. They'll message every couple of days. They will connect every so often. They do these activities because they are scared and worried. And because of that, they close themselves off from what's possible in life. They think they're not good enough, ultimately. That's what they believe about themselves. They believe they're not lovable, ultimately, at a deeper level. And that shines when somebody does give them a compliment, they reject it. When somebody does tell them they love them, they push it away. That shines because they are always blaming the environment, what's happening outside, that controls how they are inside. They're closed off with that approach and they shut off any new opportunities. This side of them makes them really focus on problems, and if they find it hard to focus on opportunities and to grow and to become more, they find it hard to open up their heart. The studies have found that when we're in survival, it's very difficult for us to be able to open up the part of us that is responsible for trust and the part of us that is responsible for letting new connections and bonds develop. Let me just share this with you. What they found was that when we have stress, stress reduces the prefrontal cortex, the activity within the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for trust and building relationships. This is why when you're going on dates and you're not feeling a connection, it's because you feel a closed offness within. And that's the activity within your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for you trusting and building relationships. As you shift your brain from the stress, but when you're in stress, the the stress within that, as you reduce it, it struggles to regulate your emotions, and therefore it starts to compound and build all the fear and the doubts, and this chronic stress starts to take over us. We become more impulsive. I want to be in the relationship. I don't want to be in the relationship. I want to be in this relationship. I want to end it. Um, you're less likely to engage in trust building behaviors, to be vulnerable, to open up your heart. And I know many of you are probably thinking, Sonny, I'm not in stress. I'm not in survival. Well, if when you go back home and your mother or your auntie or your family member starts talking to you about your relationship, instead of you feeling healthy and good and optimized, like how you do at work or how you do at the gym or how you do in other areas of life, then when you focus on relationships in particular, your body goes into a tension and you start to breathe a bit heavier and you start cramping up. Or maybe you get annoyed and say, leave it, mum, or leave it, auntie. I don't want to have this conversation anymore. Get away from me. Then in that survival side of things, then your body is triggered into a state of survival. And as your body's triggered into a state of survival, it cleanses and it pulls inwards and it starts to close off. When you start to close off, now you go on a date. Now just imagine this for a second. You're closed off when you think about relationships, and this tension is built up within your body. You go on a date, and instead of you being that free, beautiful version of you, that funny, optimistic, the one that's building trust and connection, instead there's that closed off version of you that comes onto the date. And that tension within your body is closed. And because of that tension, you find it very, very difficult to let somebody into your energy, into your frequency. And then you find it very difficult to connect. And because of that, life becomes more of a struggle. And that connection on the date becomes more difficult. And we've been changing this behavior with Love Fest, with the singles events that we've been doing around the world. We've been changing this behavior with coaching that we've been doing one-on-one with people to get them to feel better about relationships, to open up more through breath work, through other activities. Because when we can lift that energy, we can open up to more. We've been changing this behavior with our sacred matching. We open up and we create a safe space for singles to start to open up about relationships in more of an open, safe way of love. As they've been going through that journey of love and connection and depth, they feel safer to find love, to be more optimistic about it, to be more joyful about it, to open themselves up more, to trust more, to love more, to create more. And because of that, we've had amazing results for people to find love and to open up their hearts to a greater level. It's been an amazing journey. And I share this with you because if you're in a place where you've been struggling for a few years to find love, or maybe many years, and there's been no answers for you, I want to share that. I'm here to help you with these answers. I'm here to help you to manifest a better relationship and to create a better relationship. We're not just helping your mindset and the coaching, we're also helping to deliver the outcome so that you could come to an event or you can join us on Sacred Matching so that you can actually find this partner and this love. But let's get back to it. So when we're under this stress and we go into a survival side, that fear becomes our dominant emotion. And it becomes very hard for us to be able to trust. We're more reactive, more impulsive, and it becomes very difficult to regulate our emotions. So now instead of going from this beautiful state of joy, love, optimism, we go into more of an enclosed survival side. And now our atom is now full of survival information, survival energy. And this dims our light. This makes us more diminished within our light field. Our body is pulling energy instead of serving and pushing energy out there. Our normal radiance is going inwards instead of outwards. And as we live and start to do the behaviors within this energy, we start to create it more and more. And we're limiting ourselves with love. So now all we have to do is we have to just change the way we focus. Our personal reality, we have to embody the characteristics of somebody that can find love more easier. This is why that friend that you have that is able to find love really fast. And sometimes you think we're going from one relationship to the next relationship. This must be unhealthy for them. And sometimes it is. But because their feelings around love and relationships are a lot more centered and the way they see relationships is a lot more positive, probably how the way you see money or the gym or other things in your life. When you have more of a healthy relationship with things in life, you're able to put that better energy. So what do they feel when they think about joy, when they think about creating relationships? They feel joy. Joy to be with someone else and to experience life with them. The joy to embody and connect with somebody. To joy to start new relationships and to learn about somebody else. Excited about where this relationship can take them. Um, blessed, blessed to be in this life and to blessed to even get out of that bad relationship to create a new relationship. That would be their perspective. Loved. Generally, what we find is that they feel loved by somebody, anyone in their life, the universe, God, family, the people that are close to them, their best friend. They feel loved within their relationship. So they don't need to question if they love me or not. They don't need to be needy. They don't need to push that relationship away because of that closeness. When you're coming from a closed, hurt approach, what we find is that people don't feel as much love because they're feeling that nobody loved them or it's only them that takes on the world. But when these people are creating from that beautiful state of love, they feel loved. They feel blessed that they're born into this world, grateful to be alive, optimistic about the relationship and the future connections, excited about what they're going to be developing in the future. They feel open to share about their life, their past, their worries, their future, what they want, that vulnerability. The reason why they feel open is because they've conquered the emotions and the obstacles from the past. They've experienced whatever's happened, their breakup, the pain, their family, and that didn't decide if they're good enough or not. They just realized that was part of their journey and they learned what they had to learn. They took the wisdom from the experience, they took the wisdom from that time period. And because of that, they became greater, they became more. They're optimistic about the future, the vision of the relationship, how life is, what they want. They're optimistic about how they see the world. They're trusting. They trust people that come into their life. They trust love. They trust the way life is set up for them. They trust the universe, God, the oxygen they breathe. They're trusting that the right person's coming into their life because of who they are. They trust that they would see the person for who they are. This is where our intuition comes into place. This is when you've let go of the hurt and you've been able to regulate your emotions. You can listen to your intuition more. You could trust that you're going to see this person for who they are. They're playful with their approach. They have a playful side of them. They're teasing, they're playful, they're enjoying the relationship, they're enjoying the magic of life. They're energetic and passionate about it. They have this energy for the relationship because when you're thinking about the worst case scenario, all your energy is going there. When you're worried about, is this going to last 10, 15 years, all your energy is going there. They're energetic about the relationship and passionate about it because they know they're going to be creating this relationship for now. And this relationship develops and continues. They're open with their communication. People that had this personality to create the beautiful relationship, to get to that vision of the relationship you want. They're self-aware of their emotions and what they're putting into the relationship. They're confident with how they are. And confidence isn't something that you're born with. It's confidence is showing up every day in that confidence, believing in themselves, knowing themselves. They're generous with their love, their time. They give to their family, they give to their friends, they give to their people. They're generous with their wisdom, their time, their humor, their money, their finances. They're generous with their items. They're effective communicators. When they're feeling a certain way, they're sharing that with their partner and they're effective with the vision that they want to create, the life that they want to create, the future they want to create. They're effective by getting out what they want, how they feel. If it's sad, upwards, downwards. Their communication is playful. At times, it's really powerful because they share the vision, they share what they want, they're direct, they find them attractive, they find somebody attractive, they're direct with that. They can tease, they can have fun, they can be playful within the relationship. That's a side of it. They make effort, they plan dates, they share emotions. They share when they're down, they're up, they're happy, they're down, they're tension. They share their love for life, their gratitude, their appreciation for each other. This is what creates that healthy, loving relationship. They buy gifts, they treat each other, they buy small things, big things. They are thoughtful within their actions for somebody else. Because when we get out of survival, survival is when we're thinking about ourselves. When we're getting out of survival, we go into a thriving relationship. We have space to think about the other person. We have space to think about them. And many of times, you have to stop giving your energy to the people that drain your energy, and you have to start putting your energy and focus into the right relationship, the person that you want. They're present within the relationship. So when they're on their date, when they're on a phone call, they're not thinking about 10 years, 5 years in the past. They're actually being present and listening and connecting and opening up. They believe in possibilities. They believe in where the relationship can go to. They believe in how the relationship can be. They believe in the vision of a relationship. They believe that we're on this beautiful journey, and they're believing in this possibility of life. They're believing in self, in who they are. It's a huge one. They believe in themselves. They believe, they see their greatness, they see who they are, they see how they show up in relationships. They start to love themselves. They love who they are. They love their quirkiness. They love their different personality. They love their shyness. They love this person that they are. They see and focus on a vision of the relationship that's greater than their current circumstance. When we look at greatness, greatness is being able to see a greater situation than what you currently are in. And many people, they just see the situation that they're in and let this take over them. They see the relationship. I'm single. I'm lonely. I'm never going to find love. And they let that be their definition of relationships and life. Where these people that are able to create love and that beautiful relationship better, they're able to see a greater relationship, a greater vision for life. Actually, I want a greater life. I want a greater energy in this relationship. I want to put more enthusiasm, more fun, more joy, more excitement in this relationship. I want to visualize and see how I want things to be, how a wedding will be, how our dates will be. I want to plan a holiday together of joy and of excitement, of happiness. They're greater than their current circumstances. They see greater than their current life. And this is what helps them create that great relationship, that beautiful relationship, because they see beyond it. Whatever troubles are going on, they analyze, they understand what do we do with this trouble, and then they get beyond it. They see greater. They become this beautiful bond. And can you see how no one would want to create or break this bond? Because this bond is very powerful, very beautiful. It's a thriving, energetic, beautiful, optimistic bond, a winning bond. And that's why no one would want to cheat or hurt that other person. They would want to keep this relationship and make it last, even throughout the hard times, because they know what's possible. They know how sacred this relationship is. Does that make sense to you? Can you see how that relationship will create a powerful long-term relationship and they wouldn't want to break it? How else would they feel? They'll feel inspired. They'll be affirmed or thinking about the inspiration of the relationship. They'll be positive within whatever's coming up. They'll know that they're loved. They'll know that they're good enough. Because the truth is, no one's perfect. And that fake perfection image is the thing that's blocked with, I'm not good enough. And when you think you're not good enough, you try and be perfect at everything. But greatness is becoming greater. They know that they're good enough and they're putting their energy out there. They know that they're growing and learning and becoming more every day. They believe in a vision of the relationship that's so much more greater. They have stronger beliefs, a vision of God, a vision of the universe. It's not just them in this life, it's something more greater. They trust more, they're open to more, they're connecting with the energy of the world. And in this, we go from survival to thriving relationships. We go from what we look at as a stressful relationship to a one of harmony. We go from relationships that drain your energy to a relationship of repairing and coming together where you feel healthier together, feel more love together. You go from fear, anger, sadness to one of joy, love, and trust. We go from a selfish relationship to a selfless relationship. You go from a drain of energy to energy lifted. You go from a survival emergency fight or flight response to a greatness, a joy, a love, a energy that's a more. You go from a separated relationship, thinking there's two people pushing each other away, to one of connectedness. One of the greatest relationships that we can start to build on is when we're looking at love from different angles. Instead of putting a baby style love on in a relationship of separation of what can I get from this relationship? What can I take? What can I get? Instead, we go from a greater level to a transactional relationship of have you done what you've said you'll done and I'll do what I would do. This is still the world of separation. We're separating from each other to the greatest level of relationship where you're connected to each other, where you're understanding each other, where you're saying, how can I be there for you? How can I create this better relationship for us both? How can I build this relationship for both of us to build a better bond, a better love, a better connection? And as you go into this depth of relationship, this deepness, you can build a trust, a love, a greatness. And this is what will help us to get to that dream reality, that dream relationship. We'll be going from separation to connectedness. And in this, we have to go from what's known, what we think is currently known in our life, to what's unknown. What we think is currently known in our life is the current life that we live, the current relationships that we've had, the past, that's the known. The people in our life that we currently see, that's our known. Instead, we're going to trust the unknown. By trusting the unknown, we can open to greater levels of life. I want to open us up to more greatness. And I know this is a very short training that we're doing here, but this is the energy, this is the focus that we put into the relationships that we're helping people create. We're helping them create deeper relationships. And we're doing this through Love Fest. We're helping people with coaching videos beforehand to get them primed in, to get them ready for love. That Love Fest is a sacred space for people to come together, to open up to love, so that they can open their heart to be more, to create more, to do more, to create a more beautiful relationship than ever before. And the other thing that we're doing this with, because Love Fest is so special, and this is a larger gathering of people that are focused on a similar mindset, that want more. So when people tell me this excuse that I can't find these good people, I say you come to Love Fest and you will meet these great people. We have exceptional singles that come there. And this time, May 17th is our next big event that we're doing with 400 incredible singles. And we're doing 4 videos of training beforehand to get people ready for love, to open up their mind, to open up their heart so that they can find love. It's so wonderful what we do at these special events, because we are there shifting people's energies, minds, focus so that they can create a beautiful relationship. And we've had many people find love, get married, go into long-term relationships because they find that energy, they create that beautiful love and life. And it's a true joy to be able to help people on that journey to do more, to be more, and to create more. This is one part of what we do, Love Fest. And the second part to this is sacred matching, where we help you on a more one-to-one personal basis to match you with a bespoke match. We help you to connect at a deeper level so that you can find love. We help you to understand with training videos so that you can go from wherever you are to become familiar with a more deeper, more passionate, loving relationship. We help on a one-to-one coaching call to get to know you, to let go of the past more, to do healing, to open you up with more deeper love. And then we match you with a partner. We help you find a potential partner, open you up and help you connect with them. By helping you connect with this beautiful partner, we are doing so much joy and love and helping people to overcome the issues on platforms, to overcome the issues with dating. We're helping you connect with a great single that we see that's at the same vibration as you, that I see at that same level of thinking as you. We're helping you come together with these beautiful people so that you don't have to be living in that fear, that doubts, that worries anymore. These are two special things that we're doing for the world. And we're not charging for coaching. We're not doing all of this. We're putting it together in a package of Lovefest or Sacred Matching. And we hope to see you in the future, either with Sacred Matching or with Lovefest, because these are very special gifts that we are giving to the world so that we can create a better space for more people to come together, to create love, and to create a beautiful relationship. I am Sunny Sekon, your host, your guide, and love coach. Thank you so much for being part of this training, and we can't wait to see you at Lovefest or Sacred Matching in the future. Thank you.